So once you do this, you'll be just getting a build config and yeah. So OC get, I usually give OC get all to check what is happening here, and also you can give OC logs -f build config slash postal backend. Since it is error because the build config is not good, so that's why it is giving this error. But once you complete this build config, right, you just wait for this to push is successful. After that, you just check OC get build, okay, or you can do OC get all, so that you will be seeing the build name here. So you need to actually start the build. In that question itself, by default, they'll be giving you the command how to start the build. You need to start like this without any parameters. Just start the build like this. So OC start hyphen build and then build config postal hyphen backend. Since it is error, it won't start, but this is how you will be getting it. You need to wait for this whole build to be successful. See now, if you see, right, there will be two build. First build will be successful when you initially create it, okay, and then you need to start the build. Then there will be a number two build will be created, and that has to be successfully completed. You need to do OC logs -f and then build config and same thing poster backend. So you will be seeing whatever the build task that is running. So once that is completely successful, then you need to create an application and then configure the service port and then route, and then you need to whatever the usual task we have to do the same thing. So for that, OC new app, okay, and then the app name is same thing, right? Postal backend, and then you need to pass the image stream, okay. What will be the image stream? Any idea? From this question, what we are building is an application image, right? So we are using the new build command to build an application image. So if you see OC get image stream, by default you will be seeing a image called postal backend. So OC get image stream. Sorry, OC get image stream. Similarly, you will be getting a shipped application image. Okay, you need to use this image stream to create an application. So we are building our own application using this application build image that we created. Okay, so OC new app name is equal to postal backend and image stream is equal to same from the question. Sorry, from the image stream. Okay, postal backend. You need to give like this. Okay, it's no tags found. Okay. Yeah, since image is not built completely, that's why it is giving this error. See, like this only I gave it in exam. OC new app postal backend image stream is equal to postal backend. So since our images doesn't exist, right, we don't have the tags because there will be latest or something. But if you once the image is created successfully, you just pass it like this image stream is equal to postal backend. You'll be able to create the application. And as I told you, this service, right, for testing what they have given is curl sfs https, and also they mention in the question that it has to be route has to be insecure, sorry, secure traffic means https. So you need to create a edge route. So for that, OC create route edge hyphen service equal to postal hyphen backend, and then host name you need to pass from the question, like which application URL you need to connect the application, that will be given, right? And then you also need to give hyphen insecure hyphen policy is equal to capital N, none. Okay, instead of allow, it's none. None means HTTP will not be allowed, only HTTPS secure connection is allowed. So once this is created, you need to just run this curl command, whatever is given in the question. Just run this curl command, and you will be getting this output. This question I scored 100 points, but yeah, I wanted to tell you that whatever I learned is wrong. And then in the examination, I got this from one of my friend, and then from there I modified few things, that we need to give the image stream here, and also while doing the route, we have to create as edge route, and then also need to pass this argument in insecure hyphen policy is equal to none. Hmm? I will send it. Yeah, I'll send it. I will. I'll send. Any questions in this question? Second one.
Can you please just it on once again the flow?
You want to explain one more time?
Yes, just orally, like how are we proceeding with the commands alone?
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. So the first thing you will be creating is project, right? The project name is Cyan project, and then you need to actually create a build config instead of application directly, because we are going to build an image. So for that, you need to give OC new hyphen build. 1 minute. Before that, once you create the project, you need to do the git clone and clone the repository and go to the path. Okay, and then check the container file, go to the docker file, and modify the application binary URL which is present in the question. Just copy and paste it here and save it locally. Okay, you cannot push it, don't need to worry about that, just save it locally. And then once it is done, if you really want to download the URL, you can download it using wget command, but I don't recommend it because it is not needed, because we are passing it as an argument. So for that, OC new hyphen build hyphen build config name, and then you need to pass the strategy is equal to docker, because it's a container related strategy. And then build argument has to be from the container file. Okay, in the docker file there will be whatever. For me it is build repo. Okay, but if you have a different variable or argument, you need to pass that. Okay, build repo, and then give the binary application binary URL. Okay, and then you need to pass the image and then the source code. Okay, so image would be given in the question, so no need to worry about anything, just pass this as an argument and then just execute this command. So once you did that, give OC get all to view whatever things that is created here on this project, and then go to OC logs hyphen n, sorry, hyphen f, and build config postal hyphen backend. You have to wait for this to complete. Okay, once this is complete, you need to, don't forget to start the build. So far you have created only the build config, you need to start the build to get the image. Okay, so for that, for the second question alone, that whole command is given in the question, you need to just copy and paste that command here, or OC start hyphen build, and then build config slash postal hyphen backend, which is the build config name. Okay, you need to pass like this, and you need to wait for it to be start completed successfully. So OC get all, and also you need to see OC logs hyphen f BC postal hyphen backend, and to see everything is completed. And also you can monitor, yeah, only this, you need to just watch for the build to complete. Once the build is complete and the status is success here, then we can proceed creating an application. So before proceed creating an application, you need to just run oc get is. Since this is created under this project, you don't need to mention anything for the namespace. Just give oc get image stream and then get the image stream name, okay, and then create application by using oc new hyphen app hyphen name is equal to postal hyphen backend, and hyphen image hyphen stream is equal to postal hyphen backend. Copy the image name from here and then put it here. So once this is done, application will be created, and after that you need to validate oc get a service from here. So once the service is created, I mean the service will be automatically created after you build the application. Suppose I need to find out that 1 minute, because one question, you know, once you build the application, that build image does have only like deployment. It doesn't have the service file to be created. So there is no YAML file has been shipped into the build image. So what we have to find is, that's why I'm asking you to run oc get all every time. Once you create the application, normally in OpenShift, the application will by default create the service, and you need to just expose the service to access it from outside. Okay, but some question, I think this question or the third one, data. Let me check the. Just validate whether the service is created or not. Okay. Okay. This is created. Validate service. Okay. In this question, we have a service is created by default. So what we need to do is just OC and then get SVC, find the service name, and then create the edge route. Okay. Don't forget edge route for the second question, because it is mentioned in the question as secure route. And also, if you see the validation command, right, in the exam, see curl hyphen sfs https is also like secure, right? So you need to create oc create route edge, and then service is equal to postal hyphen backend and then host name, and then insecure hyphen policy is must hyphen equal to none. That means it doesn't allow the http port, only https is allowed. Any doubts?
So for the validation, we'll use the curl command.
Yes.
Would it be available in the question?
Yeah, everything is in the question.
Okay.
Yeah, this third question doesn't have the service. I will explain that. Any doubts in this question?
Can we check that URL for the validation provided?
Application itself didn't create, right? We don't have the image. I'm going to try one more thing. 1 minute. Did you understand the points? Everything, whatever I have explained right now for this question. Okay. What about you, Venkatesh? Everyone is okay, right? Paramesh, Shiva. Got it. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for responding. Oh, sorry. Delete. Okay, I will try getting this EX288. Docker file only. Okay. This you can do either way. You can do equal to or like this. Build repo equal to.
In lab, we have given the build repo as uh, the opt app root postal, right? So it is the local directory.
I know. That's why
So,
I'm passing the Git repository variable here.
okay.
Give me 1 minute, okay? I am doing it.
Yeah.
I will. Hmm. Don't use context directly and all in the exam, okay? I'm just using the local file, right? That's why I'm using that. C logs -f. Post -f. You need to wait for this to complete. Now we need to give oc start -build stance post building again. Okay. Now we need to do oc get is. Okay. Now oc new -app -name is equal to post -backend email -stream. As I told you, right? The tags is latest. So oc get svc. Next thing is oc create route h -service equal to post -backend and -host name equal to post -backend dot secure hyphen policy is equal to none. So we get let's see. Dot apps dot cp4 dot example. Okay, this is how you need to do. Okay. HTTP won't work, but HTTPS it will work in the exam. Don't need to worry about this output, but yeah, in the exam it will work. Any doubts? Shall I move on to the third question now? Okay. I took almost 1.5 hours. Okay. Okay. So question 3 is source to image. So the Fine Smart Corp development team is in charge of the shipper-backend application. So the application name is shipper-backend has deployed the application to the Indigo project. So already they have created a project called Indigo and they have an application called shipper-backend. I mean, those related everything is under the Indigo project and that is accessible via this link. So they have an existing project called Indigo and then they have an application running on it. Okay. So the task is you have been asked to create a reproducible build configuration from the source code. So you have given the Git repository source code file and you need to actually create a build config which is reproducible similar to the existing application that is running on the Indigo project. So the application must be built in the project called Indigo-build. Okay, so you need to create a project called Indigo-build and the created images and everything has to be in the name of shipper-backend. So the application name and then the build config or build name, everything should be shipper-backend. And the application build must modify the existing source to image scripts. Okay, and they have given this image as well. And also the image has to be set to server port environment variable to value 8081. So this is the only change you will be doing it inside the Git repo file, which is the source to image script. If you have done that lab from the book, you must be knowing about what is S2I, and you will be having like two different files, which is the assemble and then the run file. Has anyone run this in the lab earlier or? Okay, no problem. The build image must be having the tag as latest. See, whatever you create the build image, right? By default, it will be having the tag as latest if the build is successfully created. So that's what we have seen in the last testing, right? So when the image was not ready, I didn't see any tag there. But when the image is successful, I have seen the latest tag as latest for that build image stream. So the same thing we have to, everything is given in the question. So what we need to do is, first thing, you need to create a project called Indigo-build, and then you need to create a build, which is build config, which is called shipper-backend, and also you need to create an application which is shipper-backend using the source to image scripts, and we have to export the server port to the value 8081 inside the assemble and run file. And you need to start the build. Don't forget to start the build. Okay, once the image config is created, you need to start the build. That is mandatory. So once the build is created, then you need to create an application and then expose the service and create the route on top of it and validate it. Okay, So this is the overall procedure that we should follow for this. I'm going to help you out here. So what is the first thing we need to check or we need to create? Which is OC new project. What's the project name? Indigo-build. Don't confuse, there will be an existing project called Indigo and there will be an existing application that is running under the project Indigo. You need to create a new project which is Indigo-build and start creating the application on top of it. Okay, and first you need to create a build and then create an application. So what's the next step? You need to do git clone from the repository which is given in the question. Since for the lab purpose, all the questions, everything has been set up under the same EX288 repository, so everything is already here. Okay, so now is that S2I. Okay, go to this path. Don't forget to clone it. Okay, clone it and go to the path, and then you see ls-al. Okay, list all the files. There will be a hidden file called .s2i. Okay, you need to do s2i. Okay, bin. There will be two files called assemble and run. Okay, don't go beyond this s2i folder. Don't go inside. Okay, I did one mistake in the different question and my mark got reduced. Just stay in the same git repo folder and just do vi to the whole path. Go to the hidden file s2i and then bin assemble. Okay, go here and then you need to enter these two values. Do it at the top. There will be a line called we need the bin/sh. Okay, under that line just pass these two values. Set-e export. We have to export the server port as 8081, so you need to just export it to 8081. Export server port also given in the question and the value is also given in the question, so you need to just enter these two lines and then save it. Okay, similarly, instead of assemble you need to go to the run file. Okay, and then similar thing, do set-e and then export server port 8081. My tutor has missed this export command in and then just he has given server port and then the question has like 50% mark has been reduced, so don't forget to do export. Okay, you need to export the server port. So once you modify these two, you need to do git add dot, so both the files will be added, and then you need to do git commit commit -m like assemble and run file, or you can do server port exported to 8081. Give a meaningful commit update and then do push. Okay, oh 1 minute, let me give you the it's better to இல்லைங்க
முடிஞ்சா
இல்லைங்க
ஒன்றும் முடியலையா
வரேன், நீங்க போங்க. மியூட்ல இல்லை, உள்ள போங்க.
ஓகே 11 நிமிஷம்.
What's the chat? we will continue until this call ends, and then please connect to this link, save this link, and then you can join from that, okay, later after this. So you need to git add and then commit and then push it, okay. You don't ask username password, similar way, just need to push it, okay. Once it is pushed, start creating the build, okay. Now OC new -build name is equal to shipper -backend strategy. Earlier we used strategy as Docker in the second question. Here we need to use strategy as source, okay. Since it's S2I, we need to give this and then give the image. Image is given in the question. You need to just give that image. It's an image. Golang. And then the source code repo, git repo, okay. Whatever for this, you need to give that. So that's it. You need to give OC new -build build config name -name is equal to shipper -backend. Don't forget to give strategy so equal to source, and then give the image given from the question, and then do till symbol and give the source repository, because in the source only we have exported the server port to 8081. Okay, do this and then wait for the build to complete. Golang. No tags found on the image stream. There's no tags. OC get yes tag -n. Okay. Sorry, opens it. No image present. Okay. Golang image is not present actually. But this is the command, okay? Don't. This is the command. OC new -build hyphen build build config name, and then strategy equal to source you need to give, and then the image from the question, and then give the source code repository. So this is the command to create the build. Okay, it will create by default. Actually, in the question they will be specifying the tag as latest, but we don't have that. I mean, when I use that colon latest while creating the in the exam, it showed me output error as output. Okay, it didn't actually create the build because the image doesn't exist like that. So what we need to do is just don't give latest after this. Just use golang and then colon this the whole image which is given in the question, and then pass the source code from the Git repository. So that's it. You will be creating a build image, and once it is done, just do oc logs -f, and then once the build config is pushed, you will be getting an image as image stream. So you need to actually create the application similar to the second question, oc new -image, sorry, new -app. You need to pass -name is equal to shipper -backend, and then -image stream. I don't think that is also required. By default it will take it. If it is not taken, then just give -image stream is equal to shipper -backend. So the image application will be created. But in this question I noticed that I went to the application. Okay, once I build the application, I just went to deployment, oc describe, right, OC describe, and then deployment name, and I checked the container port. Okay, there was no port number that is specified to expose the service. That's the reason, even though the application is built, it cannot create the service. So I found it during the exam only. Then what I did, I exposed the deployment instead of service. I exposed the deployment to the port 8081, and then the service is created. So after the service is created, just expose it one more time. You will get the HTTP link for it. You will create the, get the route by default once you expose the service, and then access the application through the service. So for that, OC new app -name is equal to shipper -backend. Okay, once you give this, application will be created. If it is giving error, just give image -stream. Okay, because we are creating the image stream only, image stream build image. So same thing, shipper -backend. Do this. Once this is done, give OC get all. You will be seeing only the deployment, not the service. You can do OC describe and then deployment name. So you also check the container port, which port it is running. The container port will be empty. So you need to
Sorry to
just
interrupt here, Sanya. Probably I'm not getting it clearly, like what we are discussing at this point of time.
So right, once the application is created, it will by default create the service. You know that, right? Yeah. So in this question, my friend told me that she didn't get the curl command output even though she built this application. The problem here is once the application build image, right, it doesn't have the container port 8081.
How do we validate that from our end? Because now we have tried the new build. So once we provided the new build, we'll be starting the build, what we
Yeah,
have created.
you need to configure the build, start the build config, right? So
Hmm.
you get the image stream, right? The
Hmm.
build image stream. Using that build image stream, you will be creating an application, right?
Okay.
So after you create the application, what you will do? You need to do OC get deployment, so that you will see the deployment, or OC get all to list all the
Hmm.
resources that has been created in this project. So you will not see the service because the container port is not assigned. Okay, 8081. So we need to create it manually. The service has to be exposed manually. For that, you need to expose the deployment. Whatever the app that we are creating, right? We need to expose the deployment to get the service.
So are we going to try out whatever you are mentioning now, or it is just
Hmm.
theoretical explanations?
I will try. I'll try. I'm just explaining. See,
Mm.
if I once I run this command in the exam, I see only deployment and not the service. So you need to expose the deployment using the port 8081. So I actually went inside the deployment by using OC describe and then deployment name. You will be seeing a port option, right? In that, the container port doesn't have any value in this application. That's the reason the service has not been created. So we need to expose the deployment for creating the service.
Okay.
So yeah, once the deployment is exposed, then the service will be created. Once the service will be exposed, then the route will be created. When the service is exposed, then the route will be created. Got it?
Okay. And here also for creating the route, we need to go with the edge route.
No, it's not secure. You need to follow the question properly because they there see if it is HTTPS, then I mean for this question I didn't create edge actually. It by default when I use OC expose command like service expose, then automatically the route is created and it is accessible for me.
Okay.
Yeah, let me try to run this 1 minute. OC. Golang image is not there. That's the problem. Oh, see. Backend hyphen strategy. Source. Golang image is not there. What we can do? Just do. Okay. Okay. Golang. Okay. Here. Golang colon 1.18 hyphen UBI 8 or 9. Okay. .18. Okay. Get IS tag only 1% in join, right? If you have in WhatsApp, can you share that link? Sorry, in the group, if you can help me out. Okay, no problem. I can do it. Okay. Thanks, Venkat. I'm just using some image randomly, okay, just to. PHP. Okay. I'm just using some random image, but you will be having it. Hello? So you just remember the command. The only thing you need to give is strategy equal to source. Okay, OC new build config name, and then strategy equal to source, and then give the image name from the question. So it by default specifies that latest tag there, but if you give colon once, I don't allow you to give the colon again with latest. So just don't do that. Just copy the image and paste it here. Whatever image that is given in the question, just copy and paste that image, and then do till symbol, and then add the git source. Okay. So the only advice that I can give is, once you modify that github.s2i bin assemble and run file with set-e export server port 8081. Once you did that, and just do git add and then push commit and push. Once you pushed it, just go to the git repository URL. In the URL, go to the same repo folder and check the assemble and run file to see whatever the modifications that you committed and pushed, everything is present there, just to validate. And then come to the CLI, run the build command, use the image, but it will specifically give the latest tag. Don't use that because it won't work. I get the error message in a similar way. I removed that colon latest, and then just use the image whatever given in the question, and then till symbol, and then git repository. You will get this output. So once this is done, just give go oc get all. You will be seeing see the build status, right? You need to see OC logs -f BC build config shipper -backend.
How could we validate that edited file, like assemble and run file you have said, Sanya, before we create the new build?
You have to go to the portal. Go here, and you'll be seeing this right here.
Okay. Okay. And do we have any reason, like while editing these two files, we are not supposed to navigate to this hidden file folder and
No,
make
no,
the
in
edition?
exam they have I mean, given score based on this
Uh-huh. Okay.
exam pattern. It's not, I mean, it's not recommended like this when you are doing in your production or test environment. It's just for the
Okay.
exam purpose, I'm telling.
Okay.
Push is successful. So OC get, you need to, don't forget to do OC start hyphen build, and then build config, shipper hyphen backend. Again, you need to validate like this, and then and here only I have told you. See, pod will be created, deployment will be created, everything will be created. But here, no, here this image doesn't have deploy. Oh, sorry. I just started the build and build is completed. Now I need to see, if you see here, the last line, right? Image stream, shipper hyphen backend. So we have the image stream, okay? So we don't need to actually give this command since we are seeing in the get all only. Just create an application, OC new hyphen app hyphen name is equal to shipper hyphen backend hyphen image hyphen stream is equal to shipper hyphen backend. Okay, what is that? Typo. OC get all again. Yeah, here only Vijay Lakshmi, right? Here only I have told you, like deployment is created. It's creating actually. So once this deployment is created, see here, by default, the service is created, right? But in our exam, you get only deployment and pods, but you don't see service created.
Okay.
So you need to just give OC get deploy. And you see the ready state is 1/1. That means the pod has created and it is running successfully. You can also verify that by using OC get pods. And you'll be seeing that these two are the build config build pods that is completed. And then this is running. So this is the pod application pod. Okay. So since the service, for example, you can actually do OC describe, deploy, and then shipper hyphen backend. This is the application name. You'll be seeing the port, right? See here. Ports is 8080, right?
Okay.
So I found this location is nil actually, no value. There is no port 8081 called. So that's the reason it doesn't created the service. Okay. So in that case, I can also delete this and show it for you. I have deleted the service. So it will be like this.
Okay.
So it will be like this only, okay, by default. You don't have the service running.
Mm.
The next step would be you need to just expose the service, okay? Sorry, expose the
For
deployment.
the deployment.
Yeah.
So here is this something like we have deleted the service. Now can we check the describe deployment of the application? Will be uh, finding that port empty or nothing like that?
I don't think it will be empty because it is already created. I'm just deleted the existing one. Yeah. because it's already created, right? I just modified only the service. I just deleted only
Okay. So in our examination stuff, it will be null or something. We need to expose the deployment and then expose the service.
Yes, you need to expose the deployment first and then the service again. Okay. So you need to do OC expose. But even without doing this expose, she scored full marks. But curl command doesn't work. For me, curl command also worked, and also I got full marks for this question. I found that this is the only error that in the build image, it doesn't have the container port. That's why the service is not created. So we are just exposing the service, and then OC get SVC. Again, you need to expose it. OC expose SVC service name, super hyphen backend, and then that's it. OC get route, and you need to validate using the curl command. Yeah. Any doubts in this question?
Okay.
Yeah. Any others? Are you okay with this? Please unmute and respond so that I can move on to the next question. Okay. This question is little bit simple, 4 and 5. Okay. So managing application configuration. So the Corp development team is deploying a refactor of this order-backend application that handles customer orders. And then the application and database have been deployed already. So you don't need to create any project here because the asset project is already been created and there is application and database that is deployed already. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to just actually, I'll show you the full question. 1 minute. So the ACID project is already created and there is an application and database that is running already. So what you need to create is you need to create a config map in the name of order-backend, and you need to actually pass these two variables, which is database underscore host and port on the config map. Okay. After creating the config map, you also need to modify the environment variable for the existing application. So in the question, they have already have the project and also they have deployed an application. So you need to edit the deployment. So OC edit deployment order-backend, and you need to pass these environments. So environment variable for config map, and also you need to pass the secrets, and also you need to give the app host environment variable in the deployment. So once that has been edited and saved, that's it. You need to just go and validate the deployment by connecting to the pod, and you need to do env command for validating whether the environment variable has been passed to the application. Yeah, we can proceed working on this. We'll be easily getting into it. So for this fourth question, you don't need to create any projects. You directly go to the project and you need to just modify the deployment. Okay. So in our case, we don't have project called ACID.
So here, Sarnya, like all these questions are interlinked with each other.
No. I'm saying that there is a default project already they have been created and the existing application is running for this question. You need to modify the existing application and by passing the environment variables on top of it. And you just validate the environment variables have been passed successfully. That is this question.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just going to the existing project, whatever we created, right? So I'm just going to the good running project. Just we know that we have created an application called supplier-backend using the Node.js, right? So we are going to do the existing, modify the existing application. So the first step is we need to create a config map. Okay. So the config map is OC create you can give like this config map, or short form is CM. Okay. Config map. Config map name is order-backend. Everything has been given in the question. Like what is the config map name, and then what is the value or parameters, key value pair, which we need to pass. So for passing the key value pair in the config map, we need to use from literal equal to database underscore host is equal to order DB. And then again, we need to pass one more literal, one more key value pair, which is database underscore port equal to 5432. That's it. Config map is created. So OC gets CM. So order-backend is created. Okay. So this is the first step. And then the second step would be, you need to just inject this environment variables into the existing application. So in the ACID project, in the question, they will be giving you which application you need to edit, okay? And you'll have to be going into the ACID project, OC project, and then ACID, and then just give OC get deploy. You will be seeing the application. Application name, I think it's order-backend only. Yeah, application name is order-backend only, okay? So you just go to that application, and then for this question, for the practice, I'm just using the existing one that I created in the first question. So OC edit deploy supply-backend.
So here for creating the config map, what are the parameters we have included in the command?
So config map, you know, right? Config map is for passing the like username, whatever, some different values, but use passwords in secrets. And then yeah, so they have already created secret by default. We don't need to actually create secret, but we can check the secrets. OC get secrets, and then secret name. You will see the secret, and you can describe and see what is inside in it. Okay. You will be having the passwords on the secret, and then the username and port would be inside the config map that we have to create. And then the pod information, like environment variable, has to be passed in the app host. Everything is passed as an environment variable, okay?
Okay, I'm just trying to understand the command we have executed.
Which command? Config.
The config map creation command.
Okay. Do you know config map process, like how it is created? So, OC create config map and then config map name. There is an option called -- from literal. And then this is called key, and then this is value. Database host is key, and then order DB is a value, which is given in the question.
Okay.
Yeah. This is key
Where
value
it is?
pair, right? The variable
Okay.
key
Create a
and then the
config map.
value. Database port is key and then the value. So config map will be created. And you need to test it by using OC get config map. And also you can describe it. See, whatever, you want to check something, you can describe it and see. See here. Everything is here, right? Database port and then the host name. Whatever you pass it through literal, it will be here. You just go through config map in OpenShift documents. Actually, there are different various ways we can create config map through environment variable, and you can also do some literal key value pair directly. You can pass, and then there are different options. You just go and learn about full config map detail. Okay. Similarly, similar thing for secret, but secret is only for secured like passwords stuff, other stuff. SSH keys, you can pass it in secret. So
Okay,
once you create this, we need to actually edit the application name which is given in the question, okay? Order-DB or something, that one. So right now I'm just using my existing project and editing the deployment. And you need to go to the containers, okay? Under spec containers. Okay, just pass it here. That is
We can use, we have OC set environment deployment, and then
no,
we
no.
use
Wait,
config.
I will tell you. Don't pass using, I know there is a command called OCSet env for passing this, but they are recommending not to pass the command directly. You need to just go and inject it. This exam
Okay.
is something different. The process they validate is different. That's why. Otherwise, the mark will be reduced, I think.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, right. They're they're wanting us to understand whether if we have knowledge on indentation and all these things, whether we are rightly placing it.
Yes,
Fine, thanks.
that's right. So this is like this environment from, okay, and then hyphen config map reference environment variable. We are passing it, right? So we are passing as an environment. So it is environment from and then config map reference. We are referencing the config map here. And then you need to give name, which is order hyphen backend. Okay, and then you need to also pass the secret. Secret reference. Name?
It's secret reference or secret key reference?
No, secret reference.
Okay.
Order DB. And then you need to pass one more thing. env app host. For that, hyphen name. This is given in the question, okay. See, expose the order backend pod name as the app host environment variable. For that, I need to give name app host value from. You need to get the value from field reference. We are just getting the pod name and saving it in the environment variable. That's it. Field path. Usually we have the pod name and everything in the YAML file, which is under metadata, right? That's why we are calling the metadata dot name. Sorry, you need to memorize all these or write 10 times every day. You will get it. So environment from, we are referencing the config map and then giving the config map name. And then you have to pass the secret reference and then secret name. And then you need to get the application host name as the pod name. So for that, you are passing the environment variable. Name is app underscore host. And then value, you are getting the field reference from metadata name, which is inside the pod. Okay, the pod name is the app host name. So once this is done, just save it. And also you can see like this OC describe deployment. Supplier hyphen backend. See all the environments, right? Order backend, order DB, and then app host. You will be seeing all these three were injected. Okay. After this, I think I don't have the secrets, so I'm just going to create it just for my sake. Yeah, I don't have it, so I'm just creating it one for our reference. OC create. No need to create. Vijayalakshmi is the same command, okay, but for creating config map and secrets. But in secret, we need to add an extra variable called the generic. And then you need to give the secret name. Secret name is order db hyphen from hyphen literal equal to database hyphen password. I can give like this.
So in exam, when we use this OC get secrets, we'll be finding our secrets as well.
Yeah, right. You'll be having like this order DB.
Okay.
OC describe secrets. It won't show the password value. It is hashed. Okay, you need to extract it for getting the password, but you don't need this for this question. So once the application is being modified and the environment variables are all injected, you just go to the pods. Just go to OC. Sorry, you need, right, RSH, OC RSH, and then go to the pod name, supplier. Okay. Backend. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, deployment will get modified and it will be added into the environment variable. See here. ENV. Once you enter into the pod, you will be seeing this database host, order DB. You can actually, yeah, whatever we have given, the values are seen here. And also you can check the app host. So app host is calling the pod name. And that's it. This question.
Can you please
create
show that deployment where we have edited the values once in V8 mode?
containers under containers? Okay, spec containers. Yeah, here under C you need to start with hyphen environment from and then environment like this. Okay, any doubts? Okay. So in this question, only config map you need to create and then inject config map secret reference and then environment for the app host. That's it. And then log into the pod and validate it by running the env command.
Can we use the history command once here, please?
No need, no need, no need. They will validate only whether the application host name is the pod name and then whether the pod has the everything. That's it. And then actually in the question, if they give, you can actually just run this command and then validate it. No need to create any service because everything is automatically created. Maybe you can do OC get all to see service and route is there and then run this curl command to just validate it. Every question has the curl command output. Okay. Okay, next question. Implement monitoring application health. This is also simplest question only. We need to set probe for liveness, startup, and readiness. So for startup probe, you need to give TCP socket and then initial delay seconds. If you see delay, no, initial delay seconds and then timeout seconds to 10. And then liveness probe, TCP socket value should be 80 and then timeout. And also you need to give failure threshold to 5. And readiness probe, whatever URL you need to give, like get URL to 8080 this URL port and then timeout to be 60 seconds and then probe failure threshold. If you see and failures, right, consecutive failures. So failure threshold is 5 and then probe every 50 seconds. That means it's like every 15 seconds you need to like, that's like period time. I think so. Let me see. Yeah, period seconds. Period seconds is 15. Only 3 commands, that's it. There will be an existing project called Octane. Just go to that project and you need to run these 3 commands to set prob for startup, liveness and readiness. And then you need to describe and check the value. That's it. I can show you how to write, how to do this. We will use the same application, okay, because we don't have that Octane project. 1 minute. No, just go to the project which is mentioned in the question. The project name is Octane only, no change in that. And there will be an application called the blog, okay? You need to just edit that application by setting the prob for startup, liveness and readiness. Just you need to just read this question and then
Funny.
yes,
Good boy.
right. So see, I'm just using the same application where we pass the environment variables. Supplier hyphen backend. Okay, I'm using the same thing. So OC set prob hyphen sorry. For where we are setting OC set prob deployment supplier hyphen backend, then hyphen startup. Okay. Actually, they will be giving you the TCP socket, and then in the earlier versions, the parameter value is TCP socket. But after 4.18, they have changed it to open TCP. So you need to pass this open TCP equal to 8080. And then see, read the question, okay? The startup waits a delay of 10 seconds before the probe checks are initiated. So there is a delay option. So you need to give initial delay seconds.
Probably the question page is not visible, Sanya.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Initial delay seconds. Hmm. How much? Initial delay seconds is 10 seconds. And then hyphen times out means timeout. Timeout seconds equal to 10. Enter. Similarly, OC set prob deployment. In our question, it is blog. I'm just using supplier backend. Hyphen readiness, liveness, second. Okay. Liveness, hyphen open TCP equal to 8080 hyphen timeout is 30. So timeout seconds equal to 30. What is next? Failure threshold. If you just give failure, you will get the whole value parameters. So arguments. Failure threshold is equal to 5. And hyphen what else? I think that's it. So readiness is done. And then OC set prob deployment. Apply backend. Readiness get URL. Okay. Sorry, it's already 9:30 p.m. Sorry, 11:30 p.m. here. So my mind is not working. Deployment and then deployment name readiness get URL http://:/8080/ it will be given in the question only. You don't need to worry about the values and then just pass it. Get URL and then timeout. Timeout is 60 and then failure threshold is 5, same value. And period seconds equal to 15. So one, yeah, same URL, same thing. http://:/8080/. Same thing. And then you need to just check OC describe deployment and then a blog, that's the deployment name in the exam. And here it's supply and backend. And you will be seeing here liveness, readiness, startup. Once this is checked, validated, you just check the values, whatever you passed, everything is correct, and that's it. And then you can run this curl command.
How did we validate this? Scroll a bit up, please. Okay.
Next question is OpenShift template. So this template question, we have to do two things. One is to create the application build image, and then the next one is we need to build it and then start build and then deploy the application and validate the application. So that using templates. So
Can we use the history command once here for question 5? Thank you.
okay. So the Find Smart Corp development team in charge of the catalog application. So the application is catalog needs to be deployed in the Petrol project. So we know what is the application name and the project name. So you need to create the project. So OC new -project. Project name is Petrol, right? Petrol. Okay. Project name is wrongly created. It's Petrol. So the application is composed of a front end, okay, front end application, catalog front end, developed with React, JavaScript, and a backend web server, catalog backend, using the Quartus Java frame. The web front end application will connect to the backend web server that connects to a MongoDB database. The backend web server, everything is already been deployed and it is running under the project, Petrol-DB project, okay. So we need to just set up the front-end application. For that, there will be two things. We need to deploy and then, build and then deploy. Those are the two files that will be under the Git repository. So 1, 2, 3, three questions from 1, 2, and 3, we will be using the Git repo, and then 4 and 5, we don't use anything. And then from fifth question, again, we need to use the Git repository. So you need to create the project called Petrol and then clone the Git repository. So I have already cloned it here, so I'm not going to clone one more time. Every time you need to clone this Git repository and then go to the folder. So under the front end folder, you will be seeing build template and then the deploy template. So we are building the image and then deploying it and creating a front end application that will connect to the backend application that is already running on the Petrol-DB project. Okay, so you need to read this question line by line. Okay, so you are requested to modify the provided templates as specified below and use those templates to create the OpenShift objects they define. The web front-end application must be built and deployed in the Petrol project. So in that, we need to actually add a new parameter, okay? We need to add a new parameter called registry underscore URL and with the description container images registry URL. So the first thing you need to do is under the parameter under template, in the template, you have to add a new parameter which is called registry underscore URL and you need to give the description as container images registry URL, okay? And then build the front-end application using the build OpenShift template for the catalog hyphen front-end application. So they have given in that build template, right? There will be lot of default parameters. All the parameters have been initialized in the template and you need to pass the variable while processing the template to build the application, okay? To build the application image. So for that, we need, this is little, I mean, understanding is simple, but you shouldn't be missing any value under these parameters, okay? I'm just showing you what it is. Just go to front-end hyphen build hyphen template.yaml, okay? And then come to, my suggestion is just add it in the first line only, like in the under the parameters. So under parameters, you need to add hyphen name. What is the parameter name given in the question? Which is registry underscore URL. And then it has to be description. Description also they have given. You need to just type the same thing. Container images, registry, URL. Then you need to pass the value required equal to true. So in the template, the first thing you need to do is under parameters, add the parameter called registry URL with the description container images registry URL and required is true. And you see a lot of other parameters have been called in this template, which is git underscore repo, git underscore reference, username, password, npm mirror, backend URL. And then you see there is one more thing called name. Name is also a parameter. But in the exam, no, there won't be a parameter called git underscore repo or git underscore reference or git underscore whatever calling from git. The value has been changed to source underscore repo, source ref, and then source username, source password. Like that, it has been there. So you need to completely read the template file and get the parameter values like the parameter arguments, git username, whatever the values that has been passed inside the template, you just take everything. Okay, whatever parameters that is been declared here, you need to get everything. Okay, everything has been called inside the template. So get those values. For me, it is like source underscore username, and then I have modified here. Um, See, for me it was like this: source underscore repo, source username, source password. And also you need to notice that in the question, they won't be saying about, the question is like this, see, use the default branch, main branch, okay, in this. So this is the Git reference, right? This is the source reference. Here, for instead of this Git reference, the value that will be passed is main. And then Git source would be Git repository name. See here. Git source would be Git repository name. That will be given in the question. You need to just pass the parameters, not inside the template. We have to use the command line to pass it. And then Git reference as main branch. See here. Inside the bracket, they have given main. You need to call main. If the reference does have already main inside, in the parameter itself, sometimes here only the value has been specified as main. If it is there, then no need to call that actually. See here, the value is main, right? That means the value is already been passed inside the parameter itself. So no need to give that. You need to just validate whether for you it is given or not. And then they didn't say as git user or password. They have actually given us in the question itself, like you need to use to access this repo using the dev user and the standard password. So you need to think that you have to pass the username and password also while processing the template. While passing the parameters, you need to pass username, password also. So right now, what are all the parameters we have to pass? First one is the Git source, and then the Git reference, and the third one is Git username, and then Git password. So far four parameters only for Git, okay? And then point the npm repository. So you need to check the value, right? npm repository. So the argument name has to be passed as npm underscore mirror, and then the value will be given in the question. And then backend URL. Backend URL, I didn't get same as backend URL. It is called as application URL. And then, yeah, there will be with HTTP. Okay, not here. Okay. So you need to pass that application URL. That is backend URL. For me, it came as application URL as the parameter name. So you need to give that, and then also you need to pass the registry URL. Everything you need to pass and then process the template. I'll show you how to do that. So in the template file, the value we need to modify is new parameter. Okay. I missed to add again. Name. No, it's already there. It's already called inside the template. The only thing which we need to add is only this registry URL, okay? No need to do anything. You need to validate whatever parameter names and everything, okay? You need to write these 3 lines and then check whether the Git reference already has a direct value has been passed. See, everywhere there is no direct value has been passed inside the parameter, but in the Git reference only they pass the value as main. That means you don't need to pass it in the command line. Okay. See, you need to actually check this OpenShift templates. Okay. See, this is the command about how to process the template and how to pass the parameters. Okay. Whatever parameters that is being declared inside the template, those parameter value has to be passed from the command line. Got it?
Come again, Sanya.
Whatever parameters that is declared inside the template, those values has to be passed from the command line while processing this template.
Hmm.
So the only thing is in the template file, you are just adding only one parameter, which is registry URL. Rest all the parameters are already been added. You don't need to do anything. Just save it and come out from the template, and you need to run this command, okay, OC process, which is for processing the template, okay. So OC process -f, and then you need to call the template file, and then you need to pass the parameters for every whatever parameters that is being passed inside the template, and also that is being declared in the question as well, given in the question, okay. So what you need to do is OC process -f. What's the template name? Front end hyphen build hyphen template. Then you need to do -p for parameter, okay. And you need to pass everything. Go from this. All objects must have the catalog name, sorry, -ui as name, okay. See here. Inside the object, metadata name doesn't have the name, direct name, right? It has been some value. We need to pass it from the command line. We need to pass the value for name. So for the first thing is OC process -f, and then you need to give the template name, front end hyphen build hyphen template. Now you need to pass the parameter. The first parameter that we will pass is, what's the parameter? I showed you right now, which is name, okay? All objects must have read the question. All objects must have the name as catalog-ui. So the name parameter has to be passed as catalog-ui. What will be the next parameter, which is git underscore source -p git underscore source. All these parameters has to be called from the question inside the template. All these names, you need to reference it from there. So git underscore source, you need to give the git repo. I'm just giving mine the github.com Raja. Okay, and then -p, again another parameter. So if you see and git underscore reference has the value main inside the template, inside the parameter, you don't need to pass it here. So you can skip that, but don't skip the git username and password. So git underscore username. If the value is not given, then you need to pass like -p git underscore ref reference ref. Username is, they have given some user, right? Dev user. And then -p git underscore password equal to delegate. That's the value for password. And then the next step would be npm repository. In the template, we have seen the npm repository parameter name as npm underscore mirror. So you need to give that, and the value you need to copy from question. Next is domain one, whatever it is. They will give the password in the question itself, in here only. Read the first line, okay, properly. Git main branch, that means git reference is main branch. Git source is the git repo URL. Git username is the source username which is given in the question, has been configured using the dev user and the standard password delegate. That means you need to use the password as delegate. Okay. There will be different password. And then the npm repository has to be passed. So for that, npm mirror is the parameter argument name. So npm mirror is the argument name to pass the npm repository. And then -p, what's the next one? URL, right? Application URL. So for me, in this, we have passing as backend URL, but in my exam, I got it as application underscore URL, but here it is backend URL, so I'm just giving the same thing. You need to just go through the parameter names properly while taking exam. Backend URL. You know, this backend URL is already running, right? So we are calling that backend URL here to connect this to the application backend. So like that, and then okay. Then we need to pass one more last parameter, which we have added, right? Registry underscore URL. That's the image URL. So registry underscore URL is equal to, we need to pass the registry, which is given in the question. Registry.domain1.example.com. Okay. Once everything is done, this is the command to process the template. So OC process, we can do two things, okay? Once you process, instead of applying it directly, we can actually redirect this to a file, and you can check the file to see wherever the parameter value has been passed, all the values have been correctly passed. Okay, I can show you that. See, unknown parameter name, registry URL, unknown parameter name, git underscore source. So we need to find out that. Front end build template. So git source, it's not present. It's git repo. And then the registry URL, it's a spelling mistake. That's why. So it will give error directly. So you don't need to worry about. If the parameter is not present inside, then it will give you an error. See. OC process in that, I need to change this. Okay, now registry URL is there. And then git sources, git underscore, what is that? Repo.
So basically, what are we achieving in this sixth question?
Let me finish it and then tell you.
Okay.
Mm. So I'm processing this template and saving it into a file. And then you need to check this. See, wherever we are passing the value, right? See, backend URL, parameter name, and the value which we passed it from the command line. npm mirror, and then the npm registry value. Reference is main, git URL, Docker registry name. Everything will be, you need to validate this. Okay. Once everything is validated, you can run the same command and do pipe oc apply -f-. That means you are processing the template and applying the template to create the build config. I will show you that. But before that, there is one more ask in this template. See, to deploy the front-end application, sorry, all the resources created from the template can be selected with the selector app equal to catalog-ui and group equal to catalog. That means in the same front-end build template, see, there is an existing labels. There are existing labels which is app and then key value, okay? You need to add these two labels. App, don't delete the old value and just add these two values. Catalog-ui group equal to catalog. So what we are meaning is we are using the label to validate the application. So if we run the create, I mean, once the label is created, we have to actually once the template is processed and the application build config is created, we are validating whether the application or build config that is created, which is also has the label app equal to catalog -ui and group equal to catalog. I'll show you how to check that. So two things you are modifying, okay? They are asking this template, whatever resources that is created inside the template, everyone has the labels should be, app catalog -ui and group catalog. But my suggestion is don't do everywhere. If suppose if you want to create label here, then you need to go and kind is build config, right? You need to actually under the name you need to write labels and then call the labels. But I did only in the master global setting. So global labels I have added here only app catalog -ui and group catalog, and then I added new parameter, just saved this template, and once it is done I had processed it, and then I'm going to apply it. Even you can run like this also, it will give you all the output. This is just processing only, but we are going to apply it by running this command extra. OC apply -f hyphen. That means, so what are all the things that is created from this build template is only build config, you know, right? Build template is only creating build config, and after the build config is been pushed completely, build image will be created. So OC get build config catalog -ui. Also you can check like this, because you need to also validate the labels, right? So OC get BC -l app equal to catalog -ui, comma, group equal to catalog. So you see it. No resources. Oh, sorry. The build config is created. Once this build config is created, the next step would be start build. Don't forget that I lost 40 points. Actually, what happened? I created everything, but I missed to add the username password while processing the template for the first time. Output everything came, but I missed those two parameters, right? So again, I deleted everything and then recreated. While recreating, I forgot that start build. So don't forget that. So once the deployment config is created, you need to build config is created. You need to actually start build by running this catalog -ui. Unable to find the latest image. Okay, it's because the image is not present, but we can give whatever image, and once it is started, the second process would be whatever build image we have created, right? We are using that image to create the application using the template. That's the second part. See this one, front end -deploy -template.yaml. So the first part of template is only build template, where we are passing the parameters and processing the template and creating only the build config and then the build image. Using that build image, we are starting that build and creating a full build image, and using that build image, we are going to the second part of this question, which is deploy template. So deployment means we are going to deploy the application using that image. That's the second part. So in this template, as I told you, we have to give the labels, okay? App catalog -ui and group is catalog. Even though they have default templates, default labels, you need to actually add these two labels also on top of it. And then you need to, here also you need to check the parameters, okay? Name parameter is there, and then front end _ URL. Only two parameters. See, whatever objects that we are creating is deployment, okay? First thing is deployment, and then
An
service.
example would be presented with two YAML files template, right?
Yes, exactly. See,
Okay, fine.
deployment,
Thanks.
service, route, everything is creating. So in this YAML template, we have deployment, service, and route for creating the application. Okay. So here we have only two parameters to pass. One is the name parameter, and then the other one is frontend underscore URL. Sometimes this name can be changed to application URL or something, but you need to validate inside the template. So what we need to do? Process the template. So OC process -f frontend deploy template. What we need to do? Parameter has to be passed. So parameter name is equal to, what's the name? Catalog -UI. And then -p frontend underscore URL equal to, you need to give the frontend URL, which is given in the question. See, to deploy the catalog frontend application, use the OpenShift template located at deploy template.yaml with the customization. So public exposed URL is catalog UI petrol.apps.domain1.example.com. So you need to give, but in the exam, what I found is this application name, right? It is okay, HTTPS, that's fine. But in the route, whenever we create the route, we have to give only the host name without HTTPS, because this front end URL is inside the route file. See here. This here only we are passing it actually. But I think the template is modified already. But here only the value has to be passed. That's why we need to give us OC process. Okay, I'm typing it again. OC process -n front end -deploy template -p name equal to catalog -UI -p frontend underscore URL equal to whatever URL given in the question. Catalog -UI petrol.apps. So we need to set the labels in the global setting. Label app equal to catalog -UI because even in the deployment, right, in the build config, we are using the same template labels, app equal to catalog -UI and group equal to catalog. So same build image only we are using to create an application. So for that, we need to use the same template, sorry, same labels. So in the global setting, we have to give the label as app equal to catalog UI and group equal to catalog and process this template. So once this is processed, you'll be seeing the value has been passed. See, host. This is one value, and the name is catalog -UI. Wherever the name is there, everywhere it's catalog -UI. So once this is processed, you have to apply it. OC up. Yeah, because you need to check the template. You see the template and find the route spec, right? In that only you will be calling that front end underscore URL. So for that parameter, if you wanted to pass the host name in the route, we don't give using HTTPS. We have to just remove that HTTPS and use only the full application. If you give HTTPS, it will give you error only. It won't process template. For me, it happened. Then only I realized, since it is under the host route spec, we have to pass without HTTPS, only the application URL. Front end underscore URL. That's the parameter we are passing, right? I will show you. We need to apply like this. So it will create deployment service and route. I'll show you one more time. Front end hyphen deploy. See the parameters. These are the two parameters. So this is how the value should be passed. Yeah, here also, and like dollar in this bracket, front end URL, that like that it will be passed. So once the value is passed in the command line, then you will be getting this catalog -UI on this. No need to edit anything here, only the labels. In this file, only labels, that's it. So OC get deployment and then catalog-UI. You will be seeing everything. You can give just OC get all, and then also you can do OC get all hyphen L. Like this, you need to pass. Wrong. So it will show whatever resources that is created under this label, using this label. So everything will be displayed here. And you need to run the curl command. So before that, I need to tell one more thing. You are doing the git clone, right? Do git clone, go to the front end folder and modify the build template with including the labels and then the parameter registry URL parameter, whatever you are adding, you add that. And then do git add git add front end build template.yaml, and then you need to commit it and then push it. Once you push that, after that you process the template and apply the template. Once it is done, then while going to the deploy template, same thing. You need to edit the deploy template file and then git add and then front end deploy template. You need to commit it and then push it back to the Git repository and validate into the Git repository whether these two whatever changes you have made, everything is also sorted in the Git repository, reflected in the Git repository. Those things you need to do. I'm just reviewing these steps one more time. See, git clone, go to the template and modify the parameter name, registry URL, description, container, images, registry URL, required is true. Then add the labels, catalog-UI and then group catalog in the master global parameter. Okay. After that, you need to do git add. Don't come until here. Just be in your template folder only. Okay. From there, you need to give like this git add and then folder front end, and then you need to add whatever changes you have done. Build template.yaml. Git add. I mean to say is be in the repository directory. Don't go beyond. Front end build template.yaml. And then git commit. You can add like registry URL parameter is added and labels are assigned. Some meaningful comments, whatever you have done the changes. And then git push. Similarly, front end deploy template.yaml, modify everything, save it, git add front end front-end hyphen deploy template.yaml git commit -m. Labels are assigned. Yeah, because we are doing build template and deploy template, right? You need to do two sections, okay? First, you need to finish everything on the build template. First, you need to edit the build template, save it, git add, commit, and push it. After that, you process the template and apply the template. First part over, that's it. And then on the second part, you need to go to the build template, build template YAML file, modify the labels, save it, git add, and then add that file to the git source and then commit it and push it. Once you done, then you need to process the second template and then you need to apply the template for creating the application. Before that, once you deploy it, build config is created, right? You need to start the build. After that, go to the second part. Is it clear? Any doubts? It's captured, yes. Don't forget this start hyphen build. Okay. Whenever you are creating build config, it has to be, the build has to be started again. So you need to give start hyphen build. After that, go to the second part and modify the template, process the template. First, you need to modify it and then git push. Then process the template, apply it, and then validate the application. Anyone else have any doubts like Siva, Paramesh, Vijay, Praveen?
For sure, we may get doubts later part, Sanya.
Try doing it. I know lab won't work, but keep trying for a long time because 3 hours won't be enough. I felt 3 hours will be sufficient, but initially I started and I completed everything within like one hour. But templates question took me 1 hour to complete because of all these things. So
Probably in this template, we do have two parts. One is the initial creation, and the other one is the
don't
deploying the
don't
template.
don't do blind. Okay, initial
Ah,
creation is the build config. See, in the first,
okay.
second and third question, right? Whatever we are doing in the command line, we are doing the same thing using the template. That's it.
Template. Okay.
Yeah, we are creating the build config and then starting the build and getting the image stream. And then using that image stream, you are creating an application. So everything is based on template here. Just the process is different, but we are doing the same thing.
But we are also adding few things under that YAML file, right? The labels.
Yeah, labels. Labels is just for our reference, but it's mandatory. We need to just use the same app. Labels is for filtering. Whenever we use -l for label, and when we call the label name, then it will give only those resources, not everything.
Okay.
Different name. That's what I'm telling. So here it's git underscore repo, right? Well, practice. Probably it's a source underscore repo. Don't worry about it. See, whenever you process the template, you will be getting an error if the parameter is not inside. Yeah, just go to this front end hyphen. See, all the parameters are here. Okay, the values are passed here. Git repo, like source repo means you need to call a source repo. Yeah, find everything here and also you make it, you copy that in Notepad. Okay, then it will be easier for you. See, whatever which is inside the dollar symbol, right? In dollar, and then we are passing the parameters here, but no value inside. All the values are passed from the command line when processing the template. Yes, value, parameter, value. So here, so the environment is here, right? This is the parameter name, which is called from the master, from the parameter name, and then the value has to be passed from the command line. Blossom நினைக்கிறேன். 1 minute sir. Blossom நினைக்கிறேன். வரேன். போட்டாலே வரப்போகுதுல.
PLA Blossom.
Okay. So once you process the template, you will be seeing all these dollar within the value, right? Everything will be changed with your value, whatever you are passing. You see here, I have routed to YAML file. See here, backend URL is the parameter name, and the value, whatever you passed from the command line, it will be stored here. So like this, all the values will be stored here. You can validate everything and then apply it. I recommend not to go beyond the Git repository folder. Don't go beyond that. They are reducing marks for that. So you need to apply from the repository folder only.
In our case, what would be the repository folder?
See here. This is the domain, right? Sorry, Git repository. In that, the folder will be catalog-templates. Yeah, catalog-templates. And then do VI, and then whatever folders you need to do, just go inside, but don't do CD. Okay. So next question is Helm repository. A member of the FineSmart Corp development team is preparing a presentation about Helm and how it can help the company by simplifying the operational burden of deploying applications in different environments with different configurations. Okay, so the Helm chart is stored, and a demo of the new application and its Helm chart is stored under this Git repo. And then the application container image is there in the registry server, okay, under customer-backend. So the plan for the demo is to roll the same application out to 2 different projects. There will be 2 different projects. Simply to say, we are going to create 2 different applications. One is for development and the other one is for production, okay? So the development will goes under the namespace turpentine-devel, and then the production will be going under turpentine. These are the 2 projects. And also 2 are different applications. One is for development and the other one is for production. So we have the Helm chart with us. We need to create an application based on the image repository. So first thing is you need to clone the source code of the Git. Okay, you need to clone it and then customer-backend. No, that's the Git repository folder name. Projects is here only. I told you, right? It's 2 projects. Turpentine-devel for development and turpentine is for production. Don't go to the project now. For this question, 100% I recommended to stay under customer-backend folder, okay? Once you clone this, you will be getting the customer-backend folder. Just stay on that folder only, okay? Just think of Helm folder as a customer-backend folder, okay? And then you need to do backend. What is that?
Can you please type PWD?
No. For me, my repo name is EX288. But in the exam,
okay.
you just clone that customer-backend.git. You will be getting that customer-backend folder. Just stay on that folder only and then do vi, whatever the path inside, you need to go inside, okay? So it has under source main. For development, it's devel.yaml.
But we can navigate to that Helm folder.
Don't navigate to the Helm folder. That's the, I have created that as a reference only for Helm question. Just go to customer-backend and stay there and do vi to source main Helm and then devel.yaml or and the other one other file.yaml. Just go to this file and see the question. Using the customer backend, they have given this path completely. So stay on customer-backend and vi to this path, devel.yaml, that's for development. Add the values required to meet the following requirements. So we have to set the image repository as whatever repository name that is given here, you need to set that. And then also you need to set the label as stage is devel, okay? Stage is for development. And then configure the application resource limits. You need to set the resources for CPU and memory to 250 and 512 MI. This is only for the development, okay? So you need to just vi to this devel.yaml file and you need to type the similar way, okay? Image and then image repository is whatever given in the question, registry.domain1.example.com customer-backend. And then you need to just give this is the label stage devel, that means development. And then you need to set the resources limits CPU and memory. Exactly, you need to type like this and then save it. You need to do git add and then give the entire file name to add it and then git commit and push it, okay? Once that is done, so you don't need to change any permission. Just go into the file and add whatever in the question they are asking. They are asking to set the image repository to registry.domain1.example.com slash findsmart slash customer-backend and then set the label to like stage is the label name and the value is devel and set the resources and then in that specifically they want limits. So resource limits should be CPU 250 and the memory is 512 MI. Yeah, once this is set, so far we are just adding the value and saving it, okay? And we haven't applied it yet, okay? After saving this file, you need to git add and then specify this file with the whole entire path and then push it to the git repository. Make sure you made all the changes and pushing it into the git repository. So after pushing it, you
So,
need
yes, Arnya, like on the repository, we need to enter the complete URL, whatever is provided in our question, or under the image in repository.
image repository and then add it. These things, right? And devel.yaml, all these you need to type
Like
manually.
under the task, we have. Okay, so here under the task, we have the check out the
No
source
task.
code from this
You
thing
have to
and
add
find the.
exact similar thing.
Mm,
Everything you need to type. Whatever it is mentioned here, you have to type in the same form.
no.
I will show you. I'll show you.
So
So
here on the repository, we don't find that HTTP, right? So is that something that we need to pass the URL completely or only that
no URL. It's HTTPS. It's
domain name?
registry. It's not URL.
Ah,
It's not URL, it's
Okay.
image registry, right? It's not, it's an
Repository.
image. It's an image. Customer hyphen backend is the image repository.
Okay.
It's coming from registry, it's not URL.
Okay, so in
Going
our
from the-
case, under the image repository, what type, how we need to approach the value, the repository
Same
name
thing,
alone.
whatever value it is given, the whole thing. Registry.domain name.example.com / whatever it is written in the question, you need to just copy and paste it. You know, right? In Podman, we used to pull the images from the Podman registry or Docker, Docker.io. So Docker.io is the registry, and then the customer hyphen backend will be the images. So here also they have the local registry, and the last one is the image from the registry. We are pulling it and giving the label as stage, and we are setting the limits for the application. We are again creating the application only, development application using the customer hyphen backend image. See, no need. You just pass the parameter value there in the devel.yaml, and then just, you see, deploy the application to the project. So since we are modifying the devel.yaml, you need to just apply the, under this turpentine-devel.yaml, you need to apply like this. OC apply -f backend / oh no, I need to do // backend. We are running it from the current directory, so we need to pass like this. Under this directory, you are actually running the file. Backend src main helm devel.yaml. You need to deploy this under the namespace. You don't forget to give -n, whatever namespace they have given. No, you need to turpentine-devel. You need to create this project first. So we don't have that project. So you need to do OC new -project. But for testing in the lab, in the exam, you just check whether this project is already present or not. It must be there. So you need to just check this project is present and then apply it. OC apply -f. That's right. That's right. See, after you push it and then new project. Oh, we need, sorry. Actually, this is not coming as OC apply. We have to use the Helm chart, right? So Helm command. So Helm, the first thing is you can validate this. So you can use Helm template. Helm template, and then we don't have we just need to give dot / backend. I will tell you the simple thing, but don't do that. Only for your understanding, I'm just going inside, okay? So that you'll understand better. But while running this in exam, don't go beyond customer hyphen backend. Just be there before the source folder. Okay. So we are here. Okay. We have two files, devel.yaml, production.yaml. Okay, what is devel.yaml, production.yaml? Those are the values file. Helm chart has the values, right? So they have a default values file. Similarly, we have to use the similar steps to create a devel.yaml and production.yaml file. That's it. So if you see, devel.yaml is also one of the values file only. So you can check this values file by default. For example, see how the image repository is being called. So you can use a similar thing, image repository, and then see stage is equal to devel means it's a similar thing you are using. And then resources, how the resources is called. So everything will be there by default. You just need to check and then create the devel.yaml and save it. So you are currently in this directory. If you want to run this Helm chart from this directory, you can use Helm. First, you need to check the template, test everything is working fine or not. So you need to Helm template dot means from the current directory, we are going to execute this file. Devel.yaml -n turpentine. Helm template. We need to give -f. Sorry. While calling the file, we need to give -f. From current directory, I am executing this file -f devel.yaml. See, whatever the output will be, everything will be shown here. Okay. So we have given the label, right? Label as stage devel. So you see here label is present. So we are adding it through values.yaml, devel.yaml, and then image repository, whatever image registry we have given in that devel.yaml, that is also added here. And then you have to validate the resource and limits 250, 512. So the template looks correct. The Helm chart looks perfect. Okay, we have added all the values perfectly. So now we need to install it. So Helm install, we need to give a name for Helm chart. In the question, use the customer backend, this file, add the values, application resource, and then deploy the application to the project with the values, all these values, name it to customer-backend-level. So what we need to give? Helm install name is, Helm chart name is customer-backend-level. And then sourcing from current directory, and we are executing the file -f devel.yaml and using the namespace, and we are executing it under the namespace turpentine-devel. So it is deployed. So you need to give OC project turpentine-devel. Yeah. See the output value. You have to run like this. Helm install Helm chart name, and then the path should be before source. Okay, before source. So that means current directory means I am just executing from the current directory because the devel.yaml file is under this directory. So I am just giving dot, but you need to execute as if you are under the you need to be one step behind this source. From here you need to execute that. So if you want to execute here from here, what you will do? Helm install in customer hyphen backend hyphen devel. That's a chart name. And then dot current directory, but we are not in the current directory of devel.yaml file, right? So you need to source the directory. src main helm, okay? So you are in this directory, exactly. And now from here you are processing the file, executing the devel.yaml file. So again you need to give the file name. So file name is under source main helm devel.yaml -n turpentine -devel. This is how you need to execute in exam. So we are running helm install name and then current directory with all the other source directories and before the devel.yaml file, and then you need to give the file name, then give the namespace name to give the project name -n and then the project.
I have one question.
Mm.
So why are we giving this dot source main helm? Because
From the current
we
directory we are calling this file. That's how the command.
okay.
That's
Okay.
why simply for the in the simplified version I'm showing this, right? So we are until the path helm, and then from the current directory we are executing this file and in the namespace. But
It has to be executed from the helm actually, but since we don't
in
compute
the
itself,
exam
we
I got the
actually
output.
do the git.
Yeah, I got output and everything, but the score is only 44% for this question because
Mm.
what I did is I executed like this, but the way they are expecting is like this. From the Git repo and the Git repo path before the source path.
Okay.
That's why I'm just making sure that you don't miss this. And then only one part is completed for now. Similar thing, we have to do the production file, okay? Now read the question again. So we have completed the development one, okay? And then for the production one, there is a file called production.yaml. You need to add the values required to meet the following requirements. You need to set the same image repository as registry, the same thing, registry image, and then label the stage to production. Earlier, we have labeled the stage to devel for development, and now we are staging into production. And then, என்னது? என்னது? Okay. And then you need to do the number of parts to 2, replica count. In deployment, we have replicas, right? The replicas count should be 2. Uh, so we need to change that replica count. That's why they have given this indirectly they have given to increase the number of parts to 2. That means replica count. And then secure the public access to the application using TLS. That means routing. And then configure the application resource limits as follows. Again, we need to set the resource limits. So same thing as development, only 2 things extra we need to add. One is for the route TLS encryption and the other one is for increasing the replica count to 2. You need to check this route because we are setting the route value, right, to TLS encryption. Go to route, okay. Okay, this you have to see this line. Target port is 8080 and then the secure transport. Here only we are calling this termination edge, right? So we need to pass this value, secure transport. Just go to the route file and check this. It's the same. No need to change anything. It's secure transport only. How are we going to change it? Go to VI. Not to templates. Huh? 145. Okay. Just set the image repository And then stage 2 production. As I said, number of parts to 2 is replica count. And then the resource limits, CPU, memory, whatever they give in the question. Actually, in that for the memory, it's 1 GI, it's not 161. So 1 GI, and then for route, whatever we see in the route.yaml file, for TLS termination, that is secure transport, which is true. Just copy from the templates. Route.yaml. You need to copy that value, secure transport to true. Just pass that here, okay? In the production.yaml file. Secure transport as true. Once this is done, same thing you need to do. Helm template for testing. Helm template dot for the current directory, or you need to give dot slash source, whatever the path is. And then -f production.yaml, and then namespace Serpentine. But we don't have the namespace yet. You have to create it. OC, if there is already namespace is present, you just use that in the exam. I really couldn't remember whether I created or not, but if you want, if it is not present, you create it. And then also one more thing is, once you modify the production.yaml file, do git add and then push it. That's a mandatory step. Once you push it, then Helm template to test it, and then you create it like using like Helm install, and then name, application name, right? So for development, it's customer-backend-devel, and then for production, see here, it's customer-backend-production. So you need to call this name as Helm install customer-backend-production, and then current source directory, use the file production.yaml, and then namespace Serpentine. Now you go to OC project Serpentine, and then all the things will be created here. Application route. See the route, you need to just run curl command to validate whether the route is working on both sides, development and production. And that's it. Any doubts? Okay, good. And this question, I attempted, but I get only 0. So I don't know how to face this question. If you are all aware about pipelines, then try it. But there are set of answers. You can actually run ChatGPT and find out. But I don't have an answer for this. If you make everything like all the 7 questions, whatever instructions I have shared, if you do the same thing in the exam, then you will get around 255. That's 35 marks. I can't guarantee. I'm sorry, because I tried my best to run the pipelines, but I couldn't complete it. I'll share this, and I think Prem will share also. And you can fork my Git repository if you want. I can share that. starting it. You can fork this and also this is for the first question, and then the first question is actually perfect. You don't need to worry about. You can practice multiple times. And then this is for the remaining questions. You can use this and fork it to your Git repo. And the questions templates and questions will be shared by Prem. I will share with him and then he will share it with you all. Have any doubts before I disconnect? And sorry about the pipeline question. I couldn't find out the solution. Hello?
Can you just share the question so that I take the screenshot of the pipeline?
I'll share it in the group.
Sure.
Okay? I'll
Yeah.
do that in the group in another few minutes.
Thank you, Sanya. Probably if we get any doubts or clarifications during the preparation, how could we proceed? Can we get in touch with you or Prem?
Yeah, you can message me in the group. I can try answering to that. Yeah, wherever you have
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and the only thing is this PDF, right? It is good only, but only for the second and third question, it has some mistakes about running that build. Okay, for that I have actually added the comments here, like how to do that. So just reference this document and then, yeah. All the best for everyone. That's good. No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I'll share this document in another few minutes. Thanks. Have a great day. Praveen, can you stay?